And welcome back to another Hancock's VMware half hour. Okay, so carrying on the mini theme with the Minisforum, MS-A2, I thought this evening, I was going to do another video this evening on Windows 11 performing actually on the box. But I'm going to do this one and then we're going to run into the Windows 11 as well. So in this evening's video, and I've got a new cam that I'm trialing. So here we go for the first time. I'm not really happy about the focus on this, so bear with, but it's sort of kind of better than nothing at the moment. I've managed to sort of kind of rig up another cam here in the home lab. It's getting a little bit out of control, really, to be honest with you, with all the cameras that I'm looking at in here now, really, to be honest with you. But anyway, so here's another one. And eventually I'm probably going to run out of USB bandwidth with all these webcams plugged in as well. And this rig that capture all this on is probably going to crap out. Anyway, going on a bit. So today, what we're going to do, I did actually mention in one of the previous videos I've done, I think this is possibly the fourth now on the MS-A2, as this is part 4. And at the very beginning, when I started off the MS-A2 home lab thing and what we're going to do with it, I did actually mention that stock, it actually basically has 3. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll get into it already. We'll take it apart already, and I can sort of kind of explain as we go. Excuse me a minute while I just put that over there on another desk. I have actually cleaned the desk as well because it was looking disgusting. So it does actually basically look a little bit better. So that's probably about as good as focus and zoom I can get. I can actually basically start messing with the zoom a bit, but as I actually sort of kind of start doing that, it starts to lose focus. Anyway, so bear with. As I actually mentioned before, I have already actually basically installed one of these really cheapo Occulink cards, because that's for our eDock that we've been experimenting with. I got these Occulink cards on Aliexpress. They cost me about, well, they cost me nothing actually, because I think when I bought them they were about £1.04 and 89 pence. How does a company actually basically make any money on that? I don't know. Some people turned around and said they were fake. But to be honest with you, I've actually compared them with cards that I've actually bought from Amazon, which I've since returned. They cost 26 quid and 25 quid, and they looked exactly the same. So I really don't know, to be honest with you today, if you're buying from Amazon, if you're buying direct from AliExpress, what actually is fake? What are we actually comparing them to? Anyway, so that was £1.04 on AliExpress. The other one was 89 pence. Actually, that one was 89 pence because that's a single port. I've got a dual port, and that was £1.04. But because they arrived late, and AliExpress now have got this new thing whereby they'll give you a refund if your items are 24 hours late or more. These were 24 hours late, so they gave me £1 refund on both. So in fact, actually, technically, I'm in credit with a few pence with AliExpress now for my next order. So that's the Occulink card that we've already inserted. Of course, in the last one of the videos that I did on the memory upgrade, of course, we removed these 4 screws here, which is actually basically said to you at the time. I thought they were torqued in, but they're not. They're using thread lock on all these little screws, I've noticed. So they are very tight. So you do need a very good screwdriver. And this one here has been with me for, this one's been with me for about 30 years when I actually used to work in the electronic industry. Anyway, so the RAM, you may remember, is installed underneath that fan there that we took off. So turning over, and this is what shows us the NVMe slots, and of course that plug there basically is for the U2 carrier. Now there's one thing I did actually notice when I actually basically went back and I looked in the box. There was actually a free heatsink for the NVMe stick that you can put in here. However, the one that I actually purchased, which was the Samsung 990 Pro with heatsink, already actually basically came with a heatsink. The other NVMe devices or slots are actually basically under this plate here that we're going to remove in this video now, because what I want to do is you've got options for 3 NVMe sticks, or you could use the U2 device there. We've got a U2 device here, so we'll explore that later in another video. We'll do the U2, but the U2 board actually basically takes up this slot here, so you lose that NVMe slot there. So as it stands, you've got 3 NVMe slots. But what I wanted to do really, I'm not going to use Wi-Fi in the lab. So anyway, bear with while I just unscrew these screws. And again, these have got thread lock on as well, so they're quite tight as well. So I'm just going to take that screw off as well, and I'm being very careful here that I don't knock these screws and they fall off on the floor, because if they fall off on the floor here, they're lost forever. I'm never going to find them again. And I'll just take that screw out there as well. Put that screw there as well. Now, if we carefully lift off this board here, this has got the fan on it, and I'm just going to remove that fan and put that to the side over there. So we can clearly see here, this is NVMe slot 1, NVMe slot 2, and NVMe slot 3, which I'm going to leave empty for the moment because I've got plans basically to fill them. But what I did actually basically say at the beginning when I started doing videos, I'm not going to say reviews, the MS-A2 has been reviewed to death on the internet. So this is more a unboxing. This is what I'm going to be doing with it at Hancock's VMware half hour. And it's not going to be specifically VMware. As I said before, we're going to do Proxmox, we're going to use Nutanix, we're going to use Hyper-V. Obviously, we're going to do some VMware with it as well. Eventually want to get there. So I did actually turn around and say that I was actually going to replace the Wi-Fi card, because I'm not going to use the Wi-Fi card. And I'm going to replace the Wi-Fi card with the P310 PCI-e Gen 4 NVMe 2230 M.2 SSD. And I've got one of these little things as well to do that as well. Could have got this on Aliexpress, but I didn't. This is from Amazon. I put a link in the description for this if you're interested. So it also comes with a few screws. It also comes with a little board. I've not really looked at this. I've not really looked at the instructions. It comes with 2 tiny screws as well. So if I'm not careful, they're going to disappear on the floor forever, and I'm never going to be able to find them. So just let me put that to one side. So this little thing here, if you can see, let's move that to the camera so you can. It's a thing, he says, does have a proper name. Basically, it converts the Wi-Fi PCI bus M key. I can't even read what it says, it's that small. M key to a, and anyway, I'll put it, I've already put in the description. So this basically is just a little converter board, and somehow we tag on this little thing here as well. Drop this little thing in here as well, so that when it's all plugged in, like so, it would help if I showed you under the camera. So when it's plugged in like that, then that plugs into it as well. So it's like a converter board. So the first thing we need to do is we need to take out the Wi-Fi card. Wi-Fi card does work. I tested it with Windows 11, and we actually installed and downloaded lots of games like Doom and Crysis. So I'll be doing that in another video. Does it play Doom? Yes, it certainly plays Doom. Does it play Crysis? Yes, it plays Crysis. So I'm just going to remove that. I'm going to have a little look here. There's some little plastic caps here on the top, and these cables actually go out. It's interesting because these cables, one of these cables actually goes out the back here. I'm just wondering where I can tell you what I'm going to do whilst that's just plugged in there. I'm just going to put this on pause a minute. Okay, I just wanted to take a picture of the black and the grey wire and which way around they actually basically go, because obviously I've got to remove those. That was moved very quickly, so I'm going to put that plastic cap just back on there. I'm going to put that there. So I've got to sort of kind of somehow leave those wires just sort of kind of floating around in free space, and hopefully they're not going to short anything out. Okay, so let's just unwrap my, just going to unwrap this. I need to put my hands here so you can see what I'm doing. Anyway, I'm sure you'll get the general idea. I need a knife, and I think I've got one up here. Again, these are actually tin wrapping tools from when I was in the electronics industry a long time ago. So just let me some instructions. I don't think I really need them. Okay, so let's just what I can do is, there's my SSD device. I'm just going to put the Wi-Fi chip in there, and then I'll put it back in the box, and then I'll know where it is should I need to use that Wi-Fi chip again. As I said, this is going to be used in the lab. I'm not going to use Wi-Fi with it. Obviously, could have used Wi-Fi with it. You know, I could have passed through a VM using pass-through to it, probably in ESXi or Proxmox. But it's more important really that I actually want to get this little I want to use this particular device here that I've got, this 1 terabyte device, because this in the future is going to be my boot device for Proxmox, ESXi, Hyper-V, etc. in, you know, maximizing the amount of space. Oh, sorry, we've gone out of focus, gone out of bonk. So that's that one there. Anyway, hopefully, yeah, okay. So let's have a little look at how all this works. Because I've also basically read, well, you've got to snap off this device as well. So, right then, got an idiot think about how actually it goes that way round. So that plugs in there, and that's going to sit there, and then that's actually basically going to screw in there, and then that's going to plug in there. Sorry, if you can sort of kind of see that. So gonna have to find something in here. Don't think I've got any clips or any pliers. Oh, I've got some scissors. I've got some scissors. So I don't need that length there, so I can chop it there. So this is a 2230 device. So I've got a pair of scissors up here, and let's have a little look, see whether or not this is going to work. And we're just going to chop it. You see, I'm just going to, I don't want to chop it over there. I'll chop it over here. Chop quite nicely. I don't know where that disappeared to. Oh, there we go. I do need a bigger recording studio and a bigger desk. There we go. That's the bit that I've chopped off, which can be discarded. There's not really any need for that. So getting back to this, that plugs up there like that. Can you actually see? And then I've got to put in that tiny, I think it was these screws here that I had. So I'm just going to try. Apologies. Fat fingers, magnetic screwdriver. So I'm just going to screw in that there. I'm just going to nip it up. Not too tight. So that's what I've done. So now I cock that up because that is the wrong way round. I've just worked out now how we're going to have to do this. Because now just let me have a think about that. Oh, camera's gone out of focus again. Struggling with the autofocus, apologies. Okay, so I've actually basically fitted the converter board first into the slot, screwed it in basically with a little screw. The next thing that we then need to do is we do need to put this little resting thing, and that's very tight, but there is space, hopefully, to get the fan back in. I'm hoping there is. That's interesting, isn't it? Because now if we put that in and we put that there, I think that that fan is going to foul. So how have people actually basically got the fan back in? That's very tight. Very, very tight. So now we would screw that in like that, using one of these screws. But I think I'm going to have to try and get that fan in first. And that's going to be very, very tight. Not too sure if it's even going to be possible. Let's have a little look at how this came out. It was a bit like that. And so I'm going to have to put that. Might just fit. I'll come this way. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. It's tight, very, very tight, but doable, I think. Anyway, so I've got a screw basically that just to nip it up. I'm sorry if my fat fingers are getting in the way here. So I'm just going to nip up that. Just don't really want to force it. I don't really want to force it a great deal. Okay, so I'm not too sure if you can see that easily, but we've actually basically got the fan connected. Don't really like those Just going to see whether or not that I can just, yeah, okay. We've got clearance there. Okay, I think that's okay. So let's just route that. Yeah, it's a bit tight now because before the fan, the wire was sort of kind of there. I'm gonna have to fettle this a bit. Hang on a minute. I'm gonna have to fettle. Okay, so after a bit of fettling and actually moving the fan cable to the outside of the case and then running it back over the actual M.2 SSD that we've actually inserted, I have actually basically managed successfully to get the cable plugged back in again, and now we can basically put those screws back in. So all is well. There is just enough tolerance there, just enough tolerance, as if it was made for it, he says. Like, you know, the card really isn't any bigger than the one that we've taken out. So I'm just putting these screws back in again. You know, they'll be back out again in no time. So I'm not going to basically, you know, torque them in. There's enough thread lock on it on them anyway. So okay, so let's put back in our case. Let's get it the right way around this time. That doesn't feel right. Get it the right way around, he says. That way. There we go. So there we go. Modified MS-A2 with a PCI Gen 4 NVMe 2230 M.2 SSD using a little converter board. I'll put all these in the description. Okay, so got 8 minutes left. So in the last 8 minutes of this Hancock's VMware half hour, why don't we power it up, plug it in, and see it all go to crap? Anyway, just bear with and we'll do that. Okay, so I'm back. Okay, so we're all wired up. I'm going to hit the power button. I've got a shiny neon white light on the power button. I'm not hearing any horrible noises, explosions. Hopefully, we'll get a nice BIOS post type screen with the Miniforum when the HDMI initializes. Then it will boot into Windows 11 that we've already installed. That's a video that's up on the tube as well. It's taking a little bit of time to think about it. But while it's doing that, oh, there we go. Miniforum. So clearly what I've done at the moment has not totally bricked it, which is good. Pink screen there. Not quite sure what that initialization of a pink screen was. Hopefully Windows 11 will boot. And all gone very black. Hey, and sometimes later we've got a Windows 11 screen, which is good. I was worried then for a moment. I thought that I'd really bricked it. I do wonder, because I'd actually basically removed the Wi-Fi card and I'd actually basically installed an NVMe card, that it was doing some sort of kind of plug and play. Right, if I can get this mouse to work properly, if we basically just have a little look at device manager, because really all I want to see is that we've got the disk drive, the NVMe that I've inserted, and there you can see there that we've got a new device, which is the crucial device and volumes. And that is the, I say that is the, looking here, that's the P310 crucial device. And if we go to disk management, then we should have, yeah, there we go. Look, we've got another disk one there that is, and it's available there for us to format. There we go. So in this Hancock's VMware half hour, you've actually basically seen me install PCI Gen 4 NVMe 2230 M.2 SSD, a 1 terabyte version, crucial P310, by replacing the Wi-Fi card by using a now I could actually tell you, but I will put that link in the description if you want to do a similar thing. The last couple of minutes of the video, tomorrow, July 24th, is the last day to apply for the VMware vExpert program 2025 for the second half application period. So if you've not got your applications in yet, you've got less than 24 hours to do it. But don't worry if you don't make the grade this time. Carry on doing what you're doing for the community to apply again later in the year in December. And there's just one more final thing. Apologies. There's just one more final thing that I said that I would do for a good friend of mine, and I would give him a plug on the channel, and I'm just actually basically trying to find, here he is. So I did actually basically turn around and say that I would actually basically give James King, virtual James King on Twitter. So there he is, at virtual James King, good friend over in Liverpool there. And he has got an addiction, I think we'll call it an addiction, for collecting vintage 8-bit computers, things like the Amstrad CPC, Atari 2600. I know that he's got a couple of BBC Micros over there, my favourite. Atari 520s, Atari STs, etc. And he's actually started a little YouTube channel, James King, at Virtual James King, where he's been uploading some videos and uploading some shorts. And I did promise him about 4 videos back that I would give him a plug. So there you go, James, plug. I will also basically put that in the description as well. So once again, thanks so much for watching. My name's Andrew Hancock at Hancock's VMware half hour. If you've liked this video, then give it a like. If you don't like it, then don't like it. Give it a thumbs down and tell me why in the description you don't like it. Lots more to come with the MS-A2. I'm going to get back on track tomorrow. I've really been pushing the little box, really, as you may have just got a glimpse of when I logged into the Windows 11 desktop there. You know, I've been basically installing Hyper-V. I've been installing VMware Workstation. I've had virtual machines running in Hyper-V, virtual machines running in VMware Workstation. I've also basically been, yes, it can run Doom. It can run Crisis. So I've been having a little look at Doom, and you know, Doom's a little bit old for me, really, to be honest with you. As I said, fascinated with it when it came out all those years ago in the 90s. But I was probably doing, you know, Wolfenstein before that. So I've been looking at Crisis. We've been running 3D Mark on it. We've been running OpenBench on it. So all that's to come. I'm going to do separate video, and we're going to have a little look at the performance of it. Then we're going to turn Gen 4 on, because I noticed in the bars it actually basically turns around and says all the NVMe slots are set to Gen 3, because it actually turns around and says if you set them to Gen 4 it'll overheat, which I thought was rather interesting at the bars, really, to be honest with you. I have had a number of comments raised and people reading out to me that says that some of them have got 7 or the 9, so the Ryzen 7 or the Ryzen 9, and some of them are actually basically saying that it's very noisy. Some of them are saying it outputs a lot of heat. The heat really doesn't surprise me. I was running some benchmarks on it, and the CPU was getting up to about 95 degrees C. That heat's got to go somewhere. As for the noise, that doesn't really particularly bother me, to be honest with you, because the background noise here in the home lab is huge. We've got about 20 different network switches running in here. We've got about 20 different servers running in here. So the background level here, the noise in the office doesn't really bother me, to be honest with you. It's not as loud as data center, but it's not far off. So noise doesn't really bother me. And I think it was, I think Stephen Wagner had said that he's been experimenting with playing with the fans. William Lamb was interested, and he downloaded, I think, and he flashed 1.02 of the BIOS in hoping, because I think he'd noticed in the release notes that it said something about that you could change fan speeds or something or other, and I think he turned around and I don't think he was impressed. I think that's one of his, I think it's one of his big critiques on it, that the fans don't work very well, or it outputs a lot of heat, or it's noisy. But I think we'll get there. I think maybe what we probably all have to remember is that I think a lot of us that have purchased these at the moment are probably trailblazers. The device, I think, only came out in May. So, we're only in July. If that's true, that it only actually basically came out in May, they're only really a couple of months in, really. And I think we need to give the vendors a chance to sort out the BIOS, the fans. And I think I had a comment on one of my YouTube videos where somebody actually has been experimenting with the BIOS fan curve or something or other. I think you got too much time on your hands. Anyway, I joke. So I think we'll get there. And I think with the number of vExperts that have got these, and Williams actually basically got these, I think it's only a matter of time, I think, really, before we actually crack the noise heat relationship. Anyway, I'm going on and got a few more videos to do. Anyway, so again, thanks very much for watching, and good night, and goodbye. Bye bye.